Hello, everyone. So, thank you, Yana, for the introduction. And I am Sayali Bharambe, an Indian engineer turned designer. I have actually studied mechanical engineering for almost 6 years, then worked for 2 years in a new product development in an air compressor company, so very technical. And during that time, I realized maybe this is not for me, and it's more about the human-centered and user-centric design. So I started exploring a few programs, and then I started my master's at Politecnico di Milano a few years ago, almost 10 years ago. And yeah, so here I am right now. Right now, I work as an experience/service designer at Deutsche Telekom, based in Germany, Darmstadt. And in past, I've taught service design at Politecnico di Milano. Currently, I teach UX design at Reddy School of Integration. A very short intro about myself. I call myself service designer, change strategist, and an illustrator. And today, I'm here to talk about how to make the invisible visible in a big organization like Telekom. And hopefully, you'll understand this, what I mean by it, in next 20 minutes. So, for people who don't know, Deutsche Telekom is one of the biggest telco brands in Europe. We work in more than 20 European countries under different names. Sometimes we are called it Magenta, sometimes we are called it T-Mobile, and sometimes just Telecom. And we have products, B2C products like smartphones, phone tariffs, also Magenta TV, which is our TV aggregation tool. Those are just a few of the B2C tools, but we also have a lot of B2B services like telco as a platform. And being on top of all this is almost impossible and complex, to say the least. But untangling these complexities and ensuring that these products and services not just works, but works seamlessly together can be challenging. But then again, this is just one part of our job. The other one is to make these services visible. Thus, most of the times, the decisions that are made regarding these service systems, you're not part of that room, as we keep hearing this again and again. Being part of that room itself is difficult, but then again, when you're inside, making your voice heard between those different priorities of people is hard as well, and overwhelming, to say the least. So how are we trying to do that or solve this within Telecom? I'll share my story within Telecom, and that might take you through the journey. I joined the organization almost 2 years ago as an experience designer, as I said. And at that time, there were only 4 service designers in our team. We were still trying to build this service design competence within the organization. That's not to say there were no service designers at all. There were, but they just didn't have the official title of service design, or they did not know that's what they were doing. And as you can already imagine, we are still the same in that last regard. My job title is still an experience designer rather than service designer, even though I work the service design work. And so we wanted to raise this awareness of the design role within our organization and create a space for such people. That's when the official team of service designers was formed, again, almost 2 years ago, initiated by our design director and led by our service design lead, Katrina Belvita. So amazing. Now we had a name, we had a team for ourselves. But how can we make people understand what we do? And how can we show them the impact? That's when we all came together to create something what we call as Service Design Manifesto. Here we define what our role as service designer would look like and what do we aim for the organization to make it clear for everyone who is involved. We came up with 3 high-level objectives. To keep it short, the first one was consistency. As I said, we have a lot of products and services. And most of the times when you experience these products and services, you can clearly see the silos of our products. The login process in one product does not look like the login process in the other one. So what our main aim here was bring this consistency. The other one was operations. So this is more like how we work and how can we increase our efficiency and make ourselves more efficient. So this can be a lot of standardized tools, templates, formats that we can use cross-organization. And the last one, obviously, it's service design. So it means collaboration. How can we bring this collaboration processes within our organization? So we started infiltrating. I use the word infiltrate because at the start, no one wanted us. Everyone thought they'll just lose more of our production time. So we started infiltrating each of the product team and ensuring that we advocate for customer insights. Now, I have a very interesting story about this. Within Telekom, we have this research project that we do every year, where we talk to more than 60 customers. We go to their houses, we do diary studies with them on the focus topic of the year. And in 2021, it was home networks. So what was happening was a lot of our customers were complaining about bad network. But we were sure that our lines works really nice. How can this be? So we started talking to them to understand what's happening exactly. And at the same time, we were trying to solve this via various technical solutions, like Wi-Fi mapping maybe, and others. It did work, but it did not solve the issue. So we went to talk to them in their houses, and we asked them, where do you keep your routers? And we realized they keep their routers behind the fish tanks or inside the cupboards. That resulted into bad network strength. Very small thing, right? But no one realized it before. And yeah, so what we did based on that insight was we went to these product teams and told them, see, this is the reason, and they do not keep it outside because they're all old and boxy. So we need to do something about it, which resulted into a whole new line of our router designs. The aim here was make it as beautiful that it would blend into your interior of the house. And the magenta thing that you see in the corner, that was the new design. We unveiled it a few years ago in Milan Design Week, and right now we are working on the backtrack design of this for mass production. Obviously, I would not say that it was just service designers who made that possible. But what happened here was the whole idea of collaboration, cross-pollination of insights that helped along the way. Okay, now we had the team, we started showing them the impact, and we started seeing that people have started listening to us. The product owners, the project leads, they were listening to whatever we were saying. Not always, but they did, so one small win at a time. Now, what we needed to do was continue doing this. And what better way to do this than together, right? A team is a feast, not 5 individual fingers, so that's what we tried to utilize. What we started to do within Telekom was we started a lot of critique and sparring sessions. Here, a group of service designers, as I said, it was not that big yet, so we were still a small team. We started coming together to show our work in progress, not the UIs, but the strategies, the customer journeys, and things like that that we were doing for the products. We came together, and through these sessions, we realized recurring challenges in our teams, be it design ops related issues, so standardization of tools and formats I had said before, or even the cross experiences of products. As I said, the login process of one product does not look like the other one. So we started seeing these issues and things we need to solve going forward. And thankfully, each of these issues were then followed into an organization-wide initiatives. If you know anything about such big organization, it's no organization or no team is the same. What might work for one team within an organization might not work the same way for the other one, right? So what you need to know is how to approach whom in which setting. And being the only service designer in a team of non-believers can be really daunting and challenging. So how can we show this impact to these people? Even though service design is about making the real needs visible, it is not evident to a lot of people involved. So what helps in such cases is show them the impact in such a way that they will appreciate it, right? Or it makes sense to them. I'll guide you through a few learnings of mine and how specific service design artifacts can help people to turn from skepticism to even advocacy a lot of times. So these are the 4 archetypes that we usually work with. The more I started using these, the more I realized, oh, this works really well. And the thing is, I had not even created these archetypes for a service design team. I had created it for an accessibility team. And as I said, the more I started using it, the more I realized it applies for everything that I do. So yeah, let's go through them one by one. The first one, the one who wants to see the business case. This is most common in big organizations. So these are the people who, like the bottom line for them is, what return on investment can you bring me through these changes or through whatever you're telling me to do? What we do for them is we combine these service design blueprints with KPIs. What we show for each action, for each design change that you want to do, how the KPI will change. And these KPIs can be anything. It can be money, it can be time, it can be traffic to your touch points. And these tools can not only map the current state, but you can also map the changes along the way, right? And that way you show the delta for them to understand. And once you do that for one project, they see how big impact it makes. And it keeps on working, and then they convert into advocates for your processes. By showing how little adjustments can reduce the costs, it can be very transformative to these people. The next one is the one who is reluctant to make changes. These are the people with non-invented here syndrome. They are the ones who fear risking changes. Some members of our team would always go for tried and tested. This is how I've been doing it for the last 20 years. Why do I have to change now? They understand that it's a digitalization age, but still, there are some people who think that way. For such people, prototypes, small prototypes, allows us to test ideas in safe environment. And we can refine them based on the feedback that we get from our customers. These prototypes and the results can help us to show that the risk of inaction is far bigger, right, than the risk of action. One such internal tool that we use within Telekom is something what we call as Customer Cafe. The whole idea before COVID was we would invite our customers to our canteen, we talk with them, we eat with them, we see how they use this particular prototype or a product, and that's how we used to gather feedback. Post-COVID, it all converted into an online thing. So now we have 45 minutes online calls with them, where they try this prototype live. And they voice out what they're thinking while doing this. And this kind of helps us prioritize a lot of times the design changes, and also show our stakeholders that this small change can change the perspective of our users. The next one. Again, this is one of the most common archetypes that we see within Telekom. The one who wants to make change but doesn't have enough time. There's one more aspect to this archetype, which is people who try to push for new features rather than improving the old ones. So understanding the value of change is one thing, but feeling that you are equipped for making this change is the other. Especially for these visionaries, what tough, because it would create a lot of their time. We take them along a lot of co-designing sessions. We do a lot of where we as an expert go there with the process. We break down the processes into tiny bits that they can use every day within their products. And in the product discovery phase, be it a new product, this extensively in that, get to reach the maturity where it will be done along the way through the whole process. But as I said, on our way. The last one is the one who is already working on it. Finally, for our internal champions who are equipped, keep them, help them amplify our projects. In such cases, advanced workshops with more techniques while establishing an innovation lab within our organization helps. It offers help foster their creativity and maximize the impact they can make. So these are the spaces that allows them to know more, to learn more whenever they have time. It's not the given slot every week, but whenever they have time, they come, they learn, and they go. This is exactly the community I had talked about before, the critique and sparring session one. That community is open to anyone and everyone, not just service designers, but whoever is interested from within the organization. It can sometimes even be UI people who just come to show their work. They have some questions, they ask us, we try to help them. They go away, they rethink all the feedback, and they create the final designs or whatever they're working on. So, as Marcus has already said this, service design is not just about transforming that particular service or a product. It's about transforming the perspectives and cultivating the culture of service design within the organization. From making this business case evident for a lot of our stakeholders, we can turn their skepticism into advocacy or a continuous improvement along the way within our organization. Internally, we have grown, not as Marcus's organization. I hope we reach that maturity soon. But as I said, 2 years ago, we were just 4 people, and now we are 20. For Deutsche Telekom, it's a big win. From one location, which was Bonn, our headquarters, we are at 4 different locations now. So in Bonn, Darmstadt, Berlin, and one more, which I forgot now. But and yeah, we have infiltrated almost all of our telecom products and services teams to make this impact, to start advocating for customer insights. Obviously, it's not all green always. We still sometimes struggle to get our voices out, to get our voices heard, but we are expanding as we go. And that was the story of service design within telecom. I hope all of you found something useful from this talk, so thank you very much.
Thank you. I love how you used the word infiltrating, because I think this is what often happens in the organizations, doesn't it? You sort of use all sorts of tricks to somehow, like, to use a Trojan horse, pretty much, to get yourself in, and then hoping that you can create some sort of a diversion.
That was exactly what we went for, the Trojan horse theory, that you go in and then you start to expand rather than going all in from the start.
Wonderful. We have a bunch of questions which have been voted up again. And the first one is something that I think is especially relevant for such a huge organization, which is the seniority level or the structure level where service design is typically located.
So, looking at our organization chart, right before our design director is a service design lead who is responsible, and she is responsible for placing people within this product teams as per their interest, as per their skills and everything. So not that senior yet, but getting there, as I said. At first, it was a small team of service design lead. We were just independent on our own. But recently, we got a lead, so yeah, go up soon.
All right. Happy to hear. The question I ask you has 9 likes, which is a record that I've seen here. I hope you feel comfortable with this, because they're biggest failures.
Services. So, as I said, not evident yet within the organization to have such big failures as such. But what I would say is, I won't go into details, but we recently had faced one particular product within an organization. Turns out research, we created the product, not launched it, thankfully. We made the prototype, we tested it, and turns out no one wants it. And people wanted it, but not as expected it to be. So, do fast and have success soon, I guess.
All right. Likes. We're does the management accept customer Do they see the value in the work of service design? What is their reaction? Is it easy to convince?
No, not at all. As I said, we are still struggling. What helps there is showing them the numbers, right? Not just the quantitative numbers, but also qualitative numbers of how that might help with the product satisfaction score maybe, or with the time it needs for our customer agent to solve something particular. If it's a small change in the UI that makes the life easier, that can translate into less number of minutes an agent spends on the phone, right? So somehow you translate these numbers and make it evident to the stakeholders. That way, they listen. So until and unless it's not in numbers, no one will care.
So an Excel table still solves everything. Well, happy to hear that. The next one is sort of related. So I assume to make management listen to the customers, it's important to have a convincing Excel table. But once you're convincing them that you need to expand the team, what is the arguments that you applied? What worked? What didn't?
So in the past, it did kind of result into expansion of teams. When they are convinced, they want to start small so that they do not invest a lot of resources already into it. And with that small change, if you can make it evident, then even the team expansion works. So, yeah.
So it's convincing enough.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. A few more. As a service design force in such a huge organization, is there any sort of freedom to choose what topics or products to work on, or do you get them assigned? So what is the prioritization methodology?
So usually it is quite free what kind of product you want to work in. We are not a big team, so every product team needs to have a service designer. But thankfully, until now, we have had enough people with interest in each of the products. So if I get bored of things pretty easily, so I cannot work on same thing for a long time. And I've been in this organization for 2 years, and I have already worked on 2 different products, because every time I feel this is more interesting for me, I tell this to someone, and that happens.
All right, thank you. So you sort of covered that in your presentation already quite through. You could see it through the slides, so to say. But if you would have to pinpoint a couple of most important aspects of driving the transformation and actually making it happen in an organization such as yours, what would these few recommendations be?
Wow. Start small.
Okay.
Have advocates, not just the people, the small team that you have, but also non-believers. Start turning them into your believers somehow in each product teams, if you can. They don't need to be service designers, but they need to see that you can make this impact and you can change things. Because when there will be an issue that they think you can solve, they'll come to you rather than you going to them. It's always easier if people come to you saying that they need your help here and here, rather than you having an eye on everything. So I think that's the thing. Start small, start creating advocates within larger organization, and yeah.
Sounds doable, doesn't it?
No.
And final question. I'm not sure how long it might take to answer that one, but are you able to bridge design and business results? So is there any connection that you're able to see, or is it just a guesstimate? So how do you justify the business value of design in that case?
So usually it's just an estimate, like the best estimate you can make based on all the data you have. It's pretty hard if the product is not in the market to make the exact numbers. But yeah, you work with specialists, business owners, to get that number, at least near to that number, maybe not the exact one.
All right.